First of all, thank you for taking the time to try the problem all by yourself. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how to solve each problem step by step. In this problem, a student would like to prepare a 100 milliliter solution of 0.2 molarity HCl. So this is our new solution that we want to make, okay? Using just water and the stock solution. So water and the stock solution contain 50 milliliters of 2 molarity HCl. Now this bottle is usually purchased and given to us during a lab. So we're not going to use 50 milliliter, we only use some of it. And in the previous lesson, we learned M1 times V1 equal to M2 times V2. This right here is talking about the stock solution. And this right here is talking about the new solution. But we don't know how much we are going to use from our stock solution, so we have to solve for it. But we know all the other variables already. As you can see here, let's start with our new solution. We know exactly what we want to make. In this case, our new solution must have 0.20 molarity, and it needs to be at 100 milliliter. So we know exactly what we want, okay? But for the stock solution, we only know the molarity, which is given to us on the bottle, but we don't really know how much we're going to use, so we are trying to figure it out. So in this case, V1 is equal to, as you can see, I just moved this over here, basic math. And then divided by 2.0. Now let's plug into our calculator, 0.20 times 100 divided by 2. Plug in the calculator and give us 10 milliliter. So this 10 milliliter is from the stock solutions. In this case, we are using 10.00 milliliter. Again, this is from the bottle that contains 50 milliliters of stock solution. Okay, so there you go. But we want to make 100 milliliter of the new solution. So what's the rest going to be? Of course, it's going to be pure water. So in this case, we already have 10. So you think about it, 100 minus 10. This is your stock, right? The leftover must be water. So 100 minus 10, that gives you 90. In this case, we have 90 milliliters of H2O that we are going to use. And that's how we do it. Isn't that easy? Let's try another problem. In this problem, a student would like to prepare, in this case, the solution, well, let's write the word new solution that we want to make, 50 milliliters at 0.2 molarity. And again, we are using a solution from the stock bottle, which is, again, we purchased or given to us by a teacher during the lab. And in this bottle, it contains 10 milliliters of 2 molarity HCl. Again, we're not going to use all 10 milliliter. We only use some of it. Sometimes we use all, but in most cases, you would never use all. And we go back to the equation, M1 V1 equal to M2 V2. Okay? So in this case, again, we are solving for M1, and we already know that in M1, we have 2 molarity. And for V1, we are looking for it. And then over here, we have M2, which we know exactly what we want because we want to make at that specific molarity, which is 0.20, and V2 is 50. We want to make exactly 50 milliliter. Now, to solve for V1, which is pretty easy, do the basic math there. Okay. See that? I just bring this over here. That's all it is. Divide by 2. And plug it in our calculator. 0.2 times 50 divided by 2 give us what? Well, this give us, what that is, this give us 5 milliliter. There you go. Isn't that nice? Now, if that's the case, we are going to use 5 milliliter of the 10 milliliter. So in this case of the given 10 milliliter, just put another wording so that way you can have a different interpretation. And again, how much do we want this new volume supposed to be? 50. So 50 minus 5 give you a total of 45. And this 45 here is just H2O. Again, this is your stock solution right there. We only use 5 milliliter. So over here, we only need 45 milliliter of pure water. So as you can see the pattern, when we make a solution that's less concentrated, all we need is adding pure water. Now let's try the last problem together. Assume we'd like to prepare 90 milliliter of, again, in this case, we have different chemicals. So again, this is a new solution. And using a bottle of a stock solution containing 75 milliliter, that's a lot, okay, of 0.5 molarity of NaOH. And again, we're not going to use all of them. We only use some of it. So keep that in mind, okay? So this is your stock solution, or volume given in a bottle. But we're not going to use all of them. So let's go back to the equation M1 V1 equal to M2 V2. And again, we are trying to solve for that V1. We don't know how much we are going to use, but we know that the concentration is 0.5 molarity. And we are looking for it, how much we're going to need from the stock solution. And in this case, we want to make a new solution with a concentration of 0.1. And we want the volume to be 90 milliliter. So for V1, we just plug it in. And then once we plug it in, what do we get? 0.1 times 90 divided by 0.5. What is that going to be? Turn out to be 18.00. So that is right here. And again, this is coming from the 75 milliliter stock solution, okay? And then if that's the case, if we have 18 milliliter from the stock solution, what's the leftover? Well, 90 minus 18 give you what? This, in this case, 72.00. There you go. And that's how much still water we add. And when you make your solution, the first thing you're going to add is water first. Water always go first, and then your stock solution. If you're adding your stock solution first and then add water, the water will react with the stock solution, and you can have a lot of problems, okay? So again, by adding water first, no matter how concentration the stock solution is going to be there, it will be diluted very quickly by the abundance amount of water. And that way is a lot safer. So again, water always first. Water. And lastly, if you have any question, please put in the forum and we will do our best to support you. And we see you next time on another exciting chemistry video.